Hey, welcome back. We have a fantastic deck today. I've got some really exciting decks coming up in the next couple of days to showcase to you guys. Tomorrow we've got a budget deck, so if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe or check the channel. It might already be out. Anyway, this deck, Ariel OTK combo. This deck is capable of winning in a single turn. It's very combo centric. Lots of cool things you can do with the deck, and it's already been spoke about a little bit by Lemora's cards, I think it's called. So let's just jump right into it. If you're not familiar with this type of video, basically here are the contents. If you are interested in any of this stuff specifically, you can skip to this time in the video and there you have it. Key cards for this deck, it's a combo deck, so these are the combo pieces basically. You have Ariel. Basically Ariel, whenever you play an item, you can ready the character, so that means you can attack or quest, play an item, and then do the same thing again. And then we enable the OTK combo by using Maurice. Basically what Maurice does is every time you play an item, you can draw a card. Also, when he quests, you can, basically the next card, that's an item you play, it costs 2 less. So that's really good for just the 3 cost or the 4 cost items, just making them super cheap. Or making the 1 or 2s free. So basically you play an item, draw a card, ready Ariel, quest, play an item, draw a card, and then in the perfect world, you draw an item after item after item, in the stage of the game where you've already built up enough ink to be able to do that. Then we've got a whole new world. This isn't necessarily a key part of the combo, but since it's a song, you can sing it with Maurice, and then that allows you to just keep all your ink ready to use and spend on items. And then we've got all the items here. The main 3 are Magic, Golden Flower, which I'll speak about in a moment, Fishbone Quill, and Eye of the Fates. Basically, we'll speak about Eye of the Fates first. Basically, it allows Joseph character to get +1 lore for this turn. If you play multiple of these with Ariel, you can give her like free quest. I think, yeah, plus she gets +1 quest, or whatever the definition of the word is, whatever the word is for it. So if you play multiple of these, she can have like free quest, and you can just quest for so much lore in one turn. If you're readying it, questing for free. And you only need to get to 20 to win the game, so if you already have them set up on previous turns, and then you have all these 1 cost items, you can just quest for 20 in one turn very easily. A lot of the games, it's just getting to that one stage. Fishbone Quill allows you to get to the stage of having that much ink. It lets you play any card from your hand to your ink wall face down. That includes uninkable cards, so the deck does run a couple of uninkables, not too many at all. So for example, Whole New World, if you have 2 of them in your hand, it's kind of just a dead card, so you can just ink it with Fishbone Quill, which is just fantastic. And then Magic Golden Flower allows you to attack with Ariel, take some damage, play the Golden Flower to ready it, and then use the Golden Flower to heal Ariel back to full health. So those are the 3 main items. Obviously all the other items have some uses which I'll speak about in a moment, but those 3 are definitely the ones that stand out to me. This is a deck list. Credit to Lemora's cards, this isn't my deck list. This is just the one that's been going around and they have made. So I'll put a link to their video that they've made, very good video, in the description. Yeah, let's just go over the cards. Simba is just, allows you to draw a card, discard a card, just great for finding your combo pieces. This is very much a combo-centric deck, so you want the combo pieces to just be able to be played and do the combo. That's basically it. You just need to get to your combo and pull it off. Belle is kind of like a really budget Maurice. You only run 2 of them. I think it's just more for the body. You just want the body on the board to make sure that your opponent just doesn't start steamrolling you in the early stages. Whenever she quests, you can pay 1 less for the next item, which also helps if you have it when you have the Ariel as well as the Maurice. Also quest for 2, just there for the stats really, and also it does help a little bit in playing the items later on. Then you've got 2 Tinkerbells. This is to shift into the other Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell's just such a great control tool. Controls the board very nicely just on its own, so it's there for that. Ariel we spoke about, main combo piece. The main reason this deck works. For Maurice, we've already spoke about that as well. 2 Tinkerbell, the shift one, like I say, just a fantastic control tool. Whenever you play it, you deal 1 damage to all opposing characters, super good for the board clears, in combination with Grab Your Sword, which we'll speak about in a moment. And then whenever it attacks and banishes a character, you can deal 2 damage to a different opposing character, so you can clear the board quite easy, especially if you get the shift on turn 4, you just get a lot of tempo. Now, 1 Tamatoa, this is an 8 cost. it's a fantastic one-of, just as like a way to close out a lot of games. Basically, it gets +1 like quest for each item you have in play. By the time you get to play Tamatoa, if you haven't already inked it, you will have a lot of items already in play, and it has 8 defense, so it's quite hard to get rid of. So it will be questing for like 6 or 7 a lot of the time, but most of the time you don't really need it. You're more focusing just the Ariel Maurice combo with the items. And then we've got Full Develop Your Brain, just a 1 cost, lets you look at the top 2 cards and then put one into your hand and then one to the bottom. Just a good like turn 1 play. It just helps you go through your deck and find the cards that you need. Free Ransack, draw 2, discard 2, same reason as Develop. You just want to find the cards that you need. Free Smash, just deal 3 to a chosen character. Just good for killing those massive threats. Free Jump Ahead, you only really need 1 of these at any point in the game. Obviously it's uninkable, but you can ink it with Fishbone Quill, which is fantastic. It just puts your top card of your deck into your inkwell. So it just ramps you up to make sure you have enough ink to do the full combo. 2-letter goes, put a chosen character into the player's inkwell face down and exerted. Basically just clear the board, make sure that if they play a massive threat you can just get rid of it. 4 Whole New Worlds, we already spoke about it. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. Just really good. You're going to benefit off of it a lot. Normally this card, your opponent benefits off it a lot as well, but when you play Whole New World, you should normally be seeing it with Maurice, and then just filling your hand up with more items to play with Ariel, and you've got all that ink saved up. Then we've got 1 Grab Your Sword, deal 2 to each opposing character. If you sing this with Tinkerbell, if you shift it, it's almost a guaranteed board clear that early on into the game. Only 1, so it's just a good in the cases that it does come up. 4 Magic Golden Flower and 4 Scepter of Arendelle. These are the 1 cost items. We run 4 of each just because we want to use them. It doesn't really matter too much what they do necessarily. Obviously with Magic Golden Flower you can heal the Ariel after you attack to do some kind of board clear, but you just want them because they're cheap and they can ready the Ariel and draw you a fresh new card. 2 Coconut Basket. It's okay for clearing damage, but it's not the best. Like I say, you're just playing cheap items to try and get that 20 quest in that 1 big combo. 3 Beast Mirrors. If you have no cards in your hand, you can draw a card if you pay 3. If you pay 3 ink. So it's quite expensive, but obviously if you have an empty hand, it can really start up your combo again, or it can just find you into an out like a Whole New World. Then you've got 2 Frying Pans. You can banish the item and chosen character can't challenge during the next turn. This is quite good if you want to protect the Ariel, or if you just need some extra push. So say they have like, don't know, like a lot of threats on the board, and you just need to quest for whatever reason or attack into something. You can stop them from attacking your Ariel or just any of your units in general, and just buy you an extra turn. Fishbone Quill, fantastic, 3 of those. Just basically lets you put an extra card into your inkwell every turn, gets you to that stage where you want to be, where you just have enough ink to just spam your hand out. Only 1 Plasma Blaster. This is uninkable. Just a utility to deal 1 to a chosen character is just really helpful. You can just slowly whittle down a lot of units. Tinkerbell can finish them off, or sometimes if they have 1 health you can just kill them outright, and you can reuse that every turn, so it's super handy for that. Then Eye of the Fates is probably the best item card in the whole deck. It does cost 4, but since your chosen character gets +1 quest, or quest point, whatever, you can stack those up. Ariel just becomes a beast, questing for like 3, maybe even 4 sometimes, and you only need to quest like 5 times, which is so easy to do if you can pull that off. Obviously in the dream world we'd have 4 of them, not gonna happen every game, but that's the list. Like I say, credit to Lemora's cards, link in the description for that. And then main combo, we've already kind of gone over this a little bit, but I'll just do a step by step. So you want to get to a stage where you can play Ariel, and then you need to leave a turn for Ariel to be able to be ready to quest. You play Maurice, and then you either can play a Whole New World. This is optional, the Whole New World is optional. You want to play it or sing it. Normally I like to sing it with Maurice. Discard your whole hand, draw 7 new cards. Now hopefully you should get a load of item cards. You want to quest with Ariel, play an item card. The item card will allow you to quest, will allow you to draw a card, and ready Ariel again, which will allow her to quest again. So you play let's say you have 10 ink, for example. You spend 1, you go down to 9 ink, Ariel, Maurice ready, and draw you a new card. in the perfect world, you'll draw another item card that's super cheap, and then you'll just rinse and repeat until you win the game. Some other combos you can do is kind of like, you can use Ariel to just board clear, so you attack, play an item, draw a card, ready, use a magic golden flower to heal Ariel, attack again, and just rinse and repeat. It's super simple. Once we get to the gameplay, you'll kind of see it in action, and kind of hopefully it'll make a bit more sense. But that's kind of all this deck wants to do. You just want to get to this combo and just pop off. This is a main combo, but it's a bread and butter combo for any deck that has Tinkerbell and Grab Your Sword in it. Turn 3 you play Tinkerbell, turn 4 you shift into the Giant Fairy Tinkerbell, which will do 1 to everything, and then you want to sing Grab Your Swords, which will do 2 to everything. So you do 3 to everything on turn 4. At that stage in the game, definitely board clear, give you a lot of tempo, give you a lot of time to play over to get the main combo that you want. For the mulligan, you kind of want to look for your combo pieces, like Ariel, Whole New World, maybe not Maurice as much, but holding Whole New World is great because it gives you the option to just get out of any dead draws. Having Ariel's like the main card in the deck, so having it from turn 1 is fantastic, just because you've always got the option to just get going, instead of waiting around trying to find Ariel. And then I've got Fishbone Quill and 1 Jump Ahead, basically anything that can just ramp you up and get you to enough ink to play as many combos as you want. This isn't a best of 1 format. If you know what you're playing against, it might be worth keeping Grab Your Swords or Tinkerbells or just some board clear. But this is what I've gone for the mulligan. Basically just look for your combo pieces other than the items. If you don't care about the items, they're only there to enable Ariel. For the matchups, we've got an okay matchup spread. If the deck does what it wants, it is very good, and it doesn't really have anything that can necessarily stop it. But I've got Emerald and very unfavourable. Basically Emerald will just beat you too quickly, and you haven't got enough options to deal with it. And then I've got Ruby and unfavourable, basically because if they just hold Dragonfires, as soon as you play Ariel, they'll just Dragonfire it every single time, and then you'll just lose. If they hold Dragonfire for Ariel, you'll just lose that way. And then in even, I've got both of kind of the mid-rangey inks, which is Amber and Amethyst. Basically, it's kind of just if they can control the board in the mid-game, then they'll win, and if they can't, then you'll win. And then favourable, I've got Sapphire and Steel. I feel like they haven't really got the tools to deal with Ariel. Sapphire does have Let It Go, but they don't really tend to play that many, and they do play the Hades, but you should get to a point where you can go a lot quicker than they can. So that's why I've got that. And with Steel, they haven't really got an option to deal with Ariel, and they're quite slow, so you should deal with that ink quite well. So that's it for the deck breakdown. I'm going to go into some games now. Hopefully I can pull off some really cool combos. See you there. Okay, so heading into game 1. Hopefully we can get some good games here. We've played a couple already, and we've lost a few, we've won a few, but they've been quite like mid games. Mulligan looks okay. We have Ariel here and 1 Jump Ahead, which seems to be good. So we'll ink this frying pan, and then we'll just pass. We don't want to play the items too soon. We want to save them more for later on in the game. There's a lot of little things in this deck that you won't get the first couple times that you play it, but the more gauge you put in, you'll definitely start to see a lot more lines and just find a lot more wins than you normally would. It's quite a high skill cap deck, definitely. So top deck Let It Go, we'll definitely ink that. We're not going to need to use it. Opponent's not doing much. We'll play 1 Jump Ahead. We just want to get as much ink as possible, get to our Ariel. We have a Whole New World, so we're just really looking for Maurice here. Enemy inks a Maurice, so it looks like they're playing a similar deck. 1 Jump Ahead as well, so it looks like this might be a mirror match. So I think what to ink, we could ink Tinkerbell. They're not playing many units, so we can just go ahead and do that. We can play Ariel as well. They've not got much threat on the board. They can use Smash on the Ariel, but I'm fine with doing this right now. We have a couple of items to mess around with. Opponent inks a second Maurice, so it doesn't look like they've got many left. Oh, they're playing Amethyst. It's always important to just make sure that you know what colour inks your opponent's playing, and then you know what cards to play around. If they were playing Steel, then they could have used Smash. I'm just going to play Whole New World here, just try come up with some new stuff in hand. We've got kind of a dead hand, so you can always use Whole New World just quite willingly, you know. You just want to find new cards. You don't want to hold on to too many pieces. There's so many combo pieces in this deck that it's fine to get rid of some in the early game, especially if it refills your whole hand. We have our own Smash, we can get over their Ariels with that. It looks like they're just going to be drawing more cards, which is fine. They're using a lot of ink to do that. And they haven't played an Ariel yet, so we're definitely ahead. at the moment. There's a Grammatella, which we don't play, but it's good for getting there. We have a second Ariel. We can play that. I think we will. We have so many items in the hand that next turn I think we can just go for like a little pop-off turn. See what we get. We do get Eye of Fates, which is one of the best items in the deck. We have 3 of those now, so we're looking quite good. Thinking what to ink. Might ink the Smash, just because I want to keep these items now, because I'm looking like I'm building up a lot of threat. I can quest, but I don't really want them to trade their Grammatella in and get ink that way. Also, want to play around Rafiki. I want to be ready all the time, just so Ariel's protected. Whereas if they have Rafiki, which they might do, we don't know, then they can just kill one of the Ariels for free. And Ariel's our main resource. Let's find another item. Let's see. Let's calculate how much we can do. I'm going to quest with both of these. I think I'll play Eye of the Fates, which of course readies them both back up. And then I can quest again if I want. But before I do that, it's important to use Eye of the Fates on one of the Ariels to make sure that they've got the extra quest point that they need. I'm thinking what I want to ink here. I'm just going to pass. Don't need to ink anything. Have so much resources for the next turn. We can go for quite an explosive turn. Obviously we've got one of the Eye of the Fates already down, and we've got 2 more in hand, so that can get quite dangerous quite quick. And the opponent's not really doing much, they're just kind of ramping. There's a Robin Hood. They might have a Hades, which can get rid of 1 Ariel, so it's good that we got 2. They don't have too much wide board clear in that deck, it looks like. They're just going to quest with everything, and they're requesting for free, so it's fine. Tamatoa, we can play this, but I think we just might ink it. Before that, I'm just going to use Eye of the Fates on Ariel, play them both. I think I can ink this Tamatoa. I'm just wondering how much I've got. I'm going to ink Eye of the Fates, because if I play a lot of item cards this turn, then I can play Tamatoa next turn. Or I could even play Tamatoa now, but I think I'll just see how much quest points I can get to for the next turn, so we'll go both of those. And then we'll just kind of spam our items out. Obviously if you have Maurice here, you'll be drawing cards at the same time, so you kind of can go infinite with it. Let's play this here. And then we'll get to, what is that, 17? Oh, well, I just have lethal, just like that. Probably best to calculate it, but yeah, so there's lethal. As you can see, very explosive deck. If we have Maurice, it's a lot better. Let's go to game 2. Okay, so game 2, going first again. We had a very explosive game 1. I didn't count out how much Laura had, but you know, a win's a win. Mulligan looks okay. We've got a couple of turn 1 and 2 options, being similar, and we have the Maurice saved with a whole new world, which is great. So we're just really looking for an Ariel. We've also got Tinkerbell and Big Tink to shift into, so we'll get rid of that. We'll ink that one Tinkerbell, and we've also not revealed any non-steel cards, so the opponent only knows that we're playing steel at the moment. Obviously it's only for the first turn, so yeah, so they're going to ink, looks like they're playing steel as well. Probably ink this big Tinkerbell, don't really need it. Then we can one jump ahead and just ramp. Quest with this symbol, make sure that we get our quest points in. You don't want to be 1 point away from winning a game and then find out that you could have quested at some point in the game. It's always important to just get as much as you can in, especially with this deck where you're trying to reach those big numbers in that one turn. Any extra lore you can get is great. Opponent's going to one jump ahead as well, so against another Sapphire ramp. I'm going to ink this Tinkerbell, and then we can either play either Fates or Ariel. I think I prefer Ariel here, just because... do I? Yeah. Just because they're not showing much threat, so we can safely put that there, and then we can get a free quest point in as well next time with either Fates, which should be good. So opponent's thinking there, they might be playing a mirror match again. This deck is very popular. It seems to be one that a lot of people are talking about, and a lot of people are trying to get their practice in now, so then when tournaments do come about, you will know exactly kind of how to play the deck and you won't be making silly mistakes. So there's another whole new world. So what we can do is we can quest with Ariel, I think. Do we want to ink this either Fates? Quest with Ariel. I did just miss one quest point, which I was talking about with Simba. If I do play as either fate, so I think I might just ink it. Yeah, so I'll ink it there. We want to get to Maurice, but I will just let a whole new world go. Just because we don't want to be sat on a dead hand, we don't want to risk top decking a non-inkable card for the Maurice next turn, which we would have for the next 2 turns with this Ariel and the one jump ahead in my hand. So we are looking for another Maurice, but it's fine because now we have a new hand. We've got to develop your brains or develop your minds to see some cards. We've also got Ransack to search a little deeper. Looks like we are playing the mirror match, and we just play a Maurice. We draw another Ariel, so that's the 3rd Ariel we've seen. I think I'm going to Ransack here. I need to find a Maurice or something relatively soon. Just 2 items. Can get rid of this develop and a jump ahead. Jump ahead's not really good at this point. We've already kind of got where we need to be. Can definitely ink this Beast Mirror. I'd say it's one of the weaker items in the deck. Yeah, I'll develop your brains dead just because we're not going to really need it. We've got a lot of items, and if we play a second Ariel, then we can quest twice as much, which is good. A couple items in the hand, sorry. We have this Ariel. We just really need a Maurice now. Enemy does have a Maurice. They're going to play either Fates. Looks like they've got the Maurice, so they're definitely ahead. They're also ahead in ink, which is quite scary. Just kind of don't want to play Ariel. For us, it might be good to find a Smash or something similar, so we can get rid of their Ariels. Yeah, there's the Tinkerbell, which is just going to do 1 damage to all our units. And then they're going to use either Fates and Quest with Mickey for 2. Now I could hit into... Nice, there's a Maurice. Could hit into a Mickey with an Ariel, but then it does kind of slow us down, so I'm just going to pass here. Hopefully they leave both our Ariels up, and then we can just start questing like mad. And reach it to that point. They haven't got their Ariel down yet, so it looks like we've just swung ahead. They're going to quest the Maurice for free, which is huge. Play the Beast Mirror for free, and draw a card, which is really good. Maurice is such a good card for those reasons. And then they're playing the Scepter just to draw a card, which is fine. Gonna ink a Grammar, so they've still got a lot of ink to play with. Still no Ariel from them, which is fine. There's the Ariel. We have no answer to it though. And we are behind in ink. They play a Scepter, which I think might be a misplay. You want to kind of save that for when the Ariel can pop off. But it's fine. They're gonna quest with the Tank, quest with the Mickey. So they're at 10. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to pop off here. Can use Fishbone Quill, which will let us ink 2 things in our hand, which is good. I think if I want to use Maurice first, actually, just to make it cheaper, which I will do. And then we can draw some cards. Hopefully we draw into more cheap items. You can see that I can ready both the Ariels and draw a card. Get a Grab Your Sword, which doesn't really do much for me, so I'm going to quest again. Use the flower, hopefully we can find... We don't find a cheap item, but we do find a quill, which is fine. Make sure to quest in between, of course. Yeah, we're not finding many cheap items, which is just what we want. I'm going to play Fishbone Quill though, so then I can ink some stuff and get to more ink pretty quick. So I can get rid of this Plasma Blaster. No, sorry, get rid of this Grab Your Sword. Just we're not going to need it, it's too expensive at this point. Make sure we quest before we play the items. And I think I'm going to get close, but I don't think I'm going to quite get there. So there's a Smash. We haven't got enough to use it, so we're just going to ink it. And then we can use Fishbone Quill to get rid of anything. Puzzle Blast is fine. Then we'll quest, and I think we're going to get to 19, annoyingly enough. So 1 point off the lethal there, and the opponent's probably got it. So we'll say we're 1-1 in the mirror. Wonder if there was a way I could have got the extra point at any stage in this game. I know I mentioned I could have done it with the Simba if I didn't ink the Either Fates, which I think might have been a misplay if there was inking the Either Fates. But opponent's definitely got it. We used the Frying Pan on their Tink to stop it from attacking, which stops them from like clearing out our board, but I don't think it matters. I think they've got 1, 3, 5, 6. They've got 7 on board, so they plus the Either Fates, that's 8, so they just need basically 2 items, which with Maurice and 3 cards in hand is pretty likely in that deck. So we're not going to concede which ones they have it. There's a whole new world, they're definitely going to have it here now. So yeah, 19, that's pretty sad. But yeah, so like I said, deck's very hard to play. If you put the time in and learn kind of the numbers that you need to hit and the ink numbers, the optimal ink numbers, you can definitely get there. But like I said, the game's very new, so not many people have that down just yet. I'm definitely not one of them that has it down. But all practice is good practice. And yeah, there's the final item, some nail in the coffin. 20 to 19. Hopefully we can win game 3 and go 2 to 1. Yeah, we're just gonna go for the quest. There it is. See you guys in game 3. Alright, game 3, let's try and come up with this with a positive win rate. We've played 2 mirror matches so far. We've lost a lot of games off camera to Ruby decks, Amethyst decks. I definitely need a lot more practice with this deck. But I highly suggest it. It's really fun when you do get the pop-off games. When you don't get pop-off games, it does feel a little bit bad, but I feel like it's mainly a skill issue on my part. So Mulligan's okay, we don't have all Maurice or anything like that. Let's just ink the frying pan, and he's playing Beast Mirror. It's a 3rd mirror match maybe. Not many decks are playing Beast Mirror, so maybe that. We'll ink this Let It Go and play 1 jump ahead. It might be worth saving the Let It Go for the enemy Ariel, but I feel like once you get to like 5 ink, you kind of just want to be like prioritizing your Maurices and your Ariels. But maybe that's where I'm going wrong, so it might be worth reflecting on after the game where we're going to lose. There's a Ransack, I think I'll keep that. We'll ink the Scepter, we don't need the cheap items just yet. We'll get the Ariel down. Not many options in enemy deck at free cost, other than the Smash maybe. So it might be better to play the Bell, but just want to get going. I feel like I can quest to play the Eye of the Fates and then maybe quest again depending on what they play. Playing Mickey, so the deck's a little bit different to ours, but it does look like a steel item deck, which is what we are playing. Get a second Eye of the Fates, so we're just going to do what I said, we're going to quest. Ready the Ariel. And then we can maybe quest again, but we'll ink this Tinkerbell. We'll just pass. We don't really want to get hit with Fire the Cannons now I'm thinking about it. Not sure if they play Fire the Cannons, but it's always good to just play around kind of everything in the 2 inks that they have. So there's a Grammar and a Beast Mirror. They're just going to quest for 1, so we can let that happen. We don't really care about trading this Mickey if it's just questing for 1. We're going to ransack here. We want to look for the Maurice and the whole new world. We'll get rid of this frying pans and the Smash. We seem to be quite far ahead. I want to kind of get to the Maurice like I'm saying, but we do need to draw a couple more cards for that. We have kind of got a dead card, dead hand at the moment. Again, we can quest and then play the Fishbone Quill, or we can even ink the Quill and play Eye of the Fates or something like that. Definitely not bothered about playing Bell too much. I think I'll ink the... Yeah, we'll ink the Bell, and then we can play another Eye of the Fates. Eye of the Fates is definitely the best item in this deck. And then we just want to make sure that our Ariel is always ready and safe for the next turn. Enemy plays Maurice, which we're not having much luck finding, but hopefully they can play Whole New World and get us to what we need. So we can use both Eye of the Fates on this Ariel, and then we can use both the items as well. So we can quest that for free, ready it, we can quest for another free, so that's 6. And then we could quest again if we wanted, which would be questing for 9 in 1 turn off of like 2 cards and 1 card on board, which is just insane. We're not looking too good though. We have a completely empty hand, and the opponent looks like they're getting to their win con a little bit quicker than we are. Hopefully they hold me well though, that would be fantastic. To play their own Eye of the Fates, which does obviously allow them to draw a card. They're going to ink a Grammar, which is fine, and then play their own Ariel, so it looks like we might be in danger. We get Develop, which gives us another Develop, which gives us Let It Go, which I think we'll hold on to maybe, and then we can get rid of their Ariel or even their Maurice because they've only got 2 cards in hand. I think maybe getting rid of Maurice at this point is a little bit better. Yeah, if you guys have played this deck or you feel like playing it and you have any tips, honestly, leave them in the comments. I feel like anyone who's interested in this deck would love any push in that direction. I would really like to learn how to play this deck properly, because I'm definitely not playing it optimally in the games that I've tested it, but everyone seems to really like it, so it's definitely something that I'm doing wrong. Enemy doesn't seem like they have a good turn. They're going to quest with Maurice and everything else other than the Ariel. Play a second Maurice, so next turn they're definitely looking quite strong, and they're only 8 points away from winning. So hopefully we can get something big. So we can quest for free and then protect our Ariel. And then we can also let it go. Obviously we'll play the flower first to protect the Ariel, and then we'll let it go. We'll get rid of their Ariel, just because we have an exact number of how much they can quest for on board right now, which is 7, which puts them at 19. And with Ariel though, it's really hard to predict how much they'll be questing for. It doesn't look too good for us though. They whole new world for us, which was a massive misplay on their part. I feel like we might be able to win the game off just that. So we can quest for, what is it, 3, and then 6, and then 9. So we've got a game in hand. So huge misplay from our opponent there. Just clearly them underestimating how much we can do just from an Ariel, because you don't need Maurice to pull off massive turns. You just need a big hand. And obviously Maurice refills your hand, so it's great for that. But at this point in the game, like with 2 Either Fates on the board, you just need a couple of items and you can win the turn off of that. You can win the game off of that. But yeah, this shows that you don't really need anything other than just Ariel and a couple of items to win a game. Opponent definitely missed out on a lot of power there from not playing Ariel sooner, but we had to let it go, which is perfect. And then they, unfortunately for them, played us a whole new world, which allowed us to get lethal. I think they're just thinking if there's any way out for them. They can still quest for 4, which is 18. Thankfully, won't be enough. Even if they had another Either Fates, it would only be 19. So that's great for us. And hopefully they just pass here, and then we can end the game. We're playing Ariel, setting up for nothing really. There's our own Maurice, too little too late. I do have a good video coming tomorrow. It's a budget deck, so if you're excited in kind of seeing what decks are affordable early on in the game's life, be sure to subscribe. The video will be out tomorrow. And it's a pretty fun deck as well, it's pretty good. So we'll quest for 3 more here, and then we'll play as Fishbone Quill, and that'll be at 3 mirror matches, 2-1 on the score for today's video. If you did enjoy it, like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.